Thanks for joining us for This Week in Jacksonville Business Edition. I'm Kent Justice, your host. Matthew Chang is our guest today. Matt has been on our show before, and this conversation specifically tailored to some philosophy with building business. And I love this idea. You're an author, you're an entrepreneur. The book here that you've got is called Risk Taking is Biblical, already an Amazon bestseller, as I understand it.
We got lucky.
Tell us about this. I know you from Chang Robotics, and we've been talking about innovation over the last couple of years, specific to Jacksonville and Northeast Florida. Tell me how that connects with what you're doing as an author now.
Yeah, I mean, it really started because I love to teach, and I probably do one class per semester, usually at Jacksonville University or Northwestern University, somewhere like that. I serve in nonprofits, and I'll go speak to the people in the nonprofit. And I found the message was resonating. A lot of people kept saying, man, that was incredible. It caused me to make life change based on what you told me. And I thought to myself, well, how do you scale that?
Yeah.
Because I'm already at my capacity. You know some of the stuff I'm into, and I didn't have extra time. So I just started, it got in my head for about a year, I need to write a book. And then the challenge was, who has time to write a book?
Yeah, that's true. And maybe even the process. I've tried writing a book, and there's a lot to it.
Yes.
There are tools these days that can help simplify and organize the project. What was the process for you in writing a book?
Yeah, so to your point, about 50% of the effort is writing the book. The other 50% is things like publishing and production, proofreading, editing. So it's actually double the amount of work you think it is to write a book.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Here's the unlock, and I'm happy to share any tips of the trade. The secret is AI now can help you because you can voice record. So the average human can think and speak about 4 times faster than they can type. So sometimes when you're sitting there writing the book, your mind is going faster than your hands. Yeah. And so what we found was really useful was to divide the book into 1 interview per chapter for me to speak the book. And then after I've got all the words captured, go back and rewrite it.
Yeah.
Right, and so that was the trick. That really sped things up, and we were able to do 1 chapter per week based on that pace, and that helped me get from A to Z, right, get to the end.
Yeah, and the best writing, whether it's for a book or a newscast or anything like that, the best writing is always edited. It's always shorter than where you started. And as I've explored this topic in my own life, yeah, I can say a lot of words, but once they're down on paper or recorded, boy, then I need to edit it.
Yeah.
Significantly, right?
Yeah, so I used a team. The thing I wanted to make sure is that it was my voice that came through. Yeah. It didn't sound like an editor touched it, and it didn't sound like I cheated and used ChatGPT to write a paragraph. So because I spoke all the words, it's truly my voice, and everyone that knows me that's read it has commented, it sounded like you were in the living room talking to me. But then I did use a professional editor and have a secret weapon. My wife is really good at English, and she did the final edit for me. And so that was how we got to a finished product that hopefully has no typos and is ready for prime time.
So an editor who knows you deeply, knows you exactly what you wanted to communicate. That's pretty cool. Let's roll back a little bit. I know we've been talking, as we've had you on our show before, about automation, innovation. So here we're adding risk and kind of the role of faith in modern American business. You're a father of 4 here in Jacksonville. You're, as you mentioned, busy doing lots of business-related things, but here's a chance to maybe inspire and help other people succeed. Tell me more about your personal journey and how that relates to the book.
Well, yeah, perfect. So Chang Robotics, which is the company I'm known for, is a Christian company. It's a faith-based company, and we do things like we tithe on our profits, so we give 10% of our profits to ministry. We also tithe on our time. Everybody in the company is expected to serve in their community. Doesn't have to be a Christian service. You can serve soup to homeless people, or you can build a house, but whatever it is, you need to get out there in your community and do something. So that's our belief system and our values. What I was trying to do was find a way to translate that to more people and give people basically a pathway. And the reason that the title is what it is, Risk Taking is Biblical, is because a lot of people that have the next great idea, they have that vision, that passion, that dream they've been having. The challenge they have is, how do I jump off the ledge and take that risk, right? And so what I've tried to do in the book is to lay out a bunch of different models, and it is prescriptive. So if you start in chapter 1 and you get to chapter 12, you should be taking your risk, right? And what I like to joke about is a lot of people, I will say, you're really a chapter 6 guy because you're already on the journey. You just need that final roadmap to get all the way to the finish line.
Does this knock down some of the barriers that we have in our minds about taking risk or overcoming what we see as the fear of failure and that sorts of things?
Yeah, the next thing I was worried about personally was humility. I started to get concerned once I committed to writing the book. I said, there's nothing less humble than writing a book and putting your name on it, right? That's kind of the ultimate in maybe bragging. So the way I dealt with that here is I've got 10 different risk takers that have inspired me and been a big part of my life. Each chapter profiles one different risk taker. And it highlights their unique abilities and the things they went through when they were launching their own enterprise in nonprofit, public office, and for-profit businesses. And so hopefully with that diversity of ideas, the reader says, hey, one of these pathways is just like me. And that inspires me to take the next step.
Yeah, so I'm really interested in this. Tell me about, I guess, from your life experience, where is it that your faith began influencing maybe your business decisions and your ability to take those risks?
Yeah, I tell the story in the book. Really, it was covenant night. I was a middle school teacher at church. So every Wednesday I had the middle school boys and we had covenant night. And so we taught the children the difference between a covenant and a promise, a contract and a promise. And a covenant is a promise. It says, no matter what, here's what I promise to do. And my covenant card that night that we all put on the altar said, dear God, I will start a Christian engineering company. Signed with my name. The kids, what they write, I won't kick my sister. Yeah. I'll clean up my room.
Important promises too, yes.
For a 13-year-old, yeah, those are big deals. And I didn't know what that meant. So I put it on the altar, and it's kind of one of those things you get nervous about. I like to joke with our pastors. I say, I know you guys store these things in a database, and then you send them up to heaven, and they're permanently recorded, right? A week after I did that, after I made that promise, I got a call from what became my first customer. And I was told to report to duty. I had my first engineering assignment. And so the timing wasn't lost on me. Yeah. I made this promise to God that my business...
Not a coincidence?
I don't think so. Yeah. and then a week later, we're in business. And for the audience that's not sure, when do you have a business? It's not when you write a business plan. It's not when you open an office and hang a sign. It's when you have somebody to pay you for what you do. And so that was it. We had our first customer, and we were in business.
Tell me about the book and maybe some of the feedback you're getting. When exactly did it come out? I mean, I referenced Amazon bestseller already. And why do you think that a faith-based leadership book is important right now? Yeah,
it came out in October. So I can't remember the exact date, but around the middle of October. And then we started our push through social media. Yeah. And of course, if you knew me, I was definitely asking you, hey, did you get the book? Leave us a review. And we were just so fortunate. We got to number 2 in 3 categories on Amazon. And I just had this feeling like we're going to be stuck at 2 and I'll be an Amazon number 2 bestseller. And then, the Lord works in mysterious ways. We punched through and we held that title for about a week as Amazon bestseller. So that was totally unexpected for a first book, and not knowing how things worked was to achieve that. And then, the distribution of the book has been going great. I'm getting just the craziest messages from around the country of people that I've never met that will send me a picture or post online and tag me and with the book, and they'll say, this is my vacation reading, this is my holiday reading, and now I feel energized for the next step.
Gratifying, I would imagine, for an author to get that kind of feedback, especially your first publication, right?
That's right. Yeah, I didn't know what to expect, and I kind of thought I was going to hear crickets, right? But now it's been out there. It's been out there for more than a month, and enough people have been able to start and finish the book that the response has been fantastic.
Yeah. So as we look into what you've written here, you said smart risk taking is a spiritual principle as much as a business strategy. Why do you say that?
Yeah. What really inspired this book and the angle that I took on it was the parable of the talents. So in the book of Matthew, Jesus lays out 3 servants that serve a wealthy master. One is given 1 talent. Another's given 2 talents, another's given 5 talents. The talent in today's money is roughly $1 million. So for a servant, you can imagine anyone receiving that sum had never seen that much money in their
Some
life.
responsibility given to you, right?
Yeah,
there.
wow, life-changing money sitting right here in front of me. And the master just charged them to be stewards, and he left. So as the parable goes, the one talent servant buried the talent, buried the treasure, just in hopes of keeping it safe. That would be acting out of fear. The other two took it to the marketplace at once. And we focused on that key phrase a lot. They went at once to the marketplace. They wagered it all, and they came back with a multiple of the portion. You know, as the story goes, the master praised the two that had been obedient and gone into the marketplace and wagered it all. And then he cast out the one that was fearful, and he took his portion and divided amongst those who had more. So in that parable, if we get to choose in business, I don't think any of us want to be the fearful servant that gets thrown out for burying the money, burying the talents. And I think it's interesting in English that the word is translated as talent, because that also sounds a lot like our abilities in the marketplace. So I really feel like the only choice we have as Christians, are we a 2-talent servant or a 5-talent servant? But in either case, we're to go to the marketplace and wager it all for the glory of the master. That's what the book is about. And that doesn't mean being dumb, right? It means you can be very smart and you can use all the skills you've gained in your career, all the network you have, the mentors you have for your benefit and ultimately for the master's glory.
Let's talk about, I guess, risk-taking in the entrepreneurial model. You work with Fortune 100, manufacturers, environments where automation and innovation move really quickly, but failure can be really costly. So how do you balance smart risk with responsible execution?
Yeah, that comes from experience, right? One of the things I highlight in here is I don't love the 22-year-old founder of a company. There's certain things that come with the school of hard knocks. There's certain things.
Was that you at one point?
It was never.
Okay.
No, I went directly into the workforce, right out of college, and was working all the way through high school and college. I was gathering that experience.
Yeah, pretty important.
Starting serving food and doing landscaping, then being an intern in engineering, and ultimately getting licensed as a professional engineer. So I took a very disciplined path. This would apply to lawyers and doctors, or anybody that's taken that professional discipline path. So you need those skills later in life. Certainly, I think you can relate. Becoming a father and a husband were immensely informative in my journey of leadership, personal responsibility, being able to take care of others, which is what being a leader means. So once you have them in your own house, it becomes a new responsibility, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So walk us through the model you use to develop entrepreneurs, on your own team or for people who are coming to you for advice.
Yeah, so that's what I tried to do, is break this down from the questions I've received over the years. It starts with demonstrating that if you can be trusted with a little, you can be trusted with a lot. So for all the young people out there, first off, show up at work and be the best worker that you can. So earn that responsibility and get that experience at somebody's company or organization where the learning is free. You get paid to learn, but be the best. The next would be just always be looking for mentors, right? Nobody gets there alone. We've all had somebody teach us or give us a hand up. And so look for mentors, but treat those mentors with the utmost respect of their time, of the advice they give you, and really be able to show them an ROI that, hey, look, you invested time in me, and then this is what happened as a result. And the next is networking. A lot of people get a little social anxiety. Can I get out there? Can I share my vision? Can I tell people what I'm trying to do? We'll have to get over that, and we're going to have to get out there and network because it's the power of the team more often than not. And so I go through each of these steps, and yeah, we get into the hairy topics like debt. When's the right time to lever up and really grow your business with maybe bank money or somebody else's money? Taking investment. So we get into all those kind of hairy topics, and then the book concludes. The final chapter is, okay, so you've made it, right? In chapter 12, you've made it. Now what? Now you have a responsibility to turn around and pay it back to the people that are trying to follow behind you.
Yeah. Did you have a mentor, or do you have multiple mentors
I
that you would
have
point
10
to?
in here.
Yeah, I got you. Those are the interviews.
These are the mentors, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Chang Robotics. So I know you've been hitting, this is like warp speed that you've been hitting some breakthroughs there, according to your team. So what are the breakthroughs or the milestones that you're most excited about right now for Chang Robotics?
Yeah, I think right now it's that we have built the body of work. So over the past number of years in business, we have 4 of the first robotic or autonomous systems in the world. We've got hospitals, we've got factories, we've got e-commerce, and we've got the mass transit system here in Jacksonville, which is the first autonomous mass transit system. So that was kind of a solid foundation of consistent innovation, but no failures, right? It's about having the experience not to fail. And then what we're looking for next is, man, 2026 is going to be a big one. So I've been joking with the team every time I've had a decision over the past few months, and I say, I had to write the book. I had to write the book. So the risk that we're taking as a company is you're not going to see us rest on the success that we have. You're going to see us double down and then double down again. We're leaning into it. We want to be the leader in the industrial revival in this country. It's time that we made all of our products here, that we had local supply chains, that we could be self-sufficient as a nation. And Chang Robotics wants to be that company that enables every great manufacturing company to do that right here at home.
Well, and you're referencing something I wanted to ask about, Jacksonville. I would say that's not always the first city that people think of when they think about robotics or automation. So how does that jibe with your vision? It sounds like you want Jacksonville absolutely to be known for those things.
That's part of the doubling down. We just started construction on an engineering headquarters in Jacksonville Beach, Duval County. It's right there on A1A, so you can come for tacos and you can stay for the beach, but you'll do some engineering in between.
Right.
So we're going hardcore into that. That's our first owned and built real estate asset. That's going to be the hub for our brain trust. We've done some major local expansions, like establishing the robot studio at Jacksonville University. We just brought in a bunch of new robotics from Europe that are the state of the art from Europe. And then they're on display for the first location in the US right here in Jacksonville. Where? At JU. So we're just going to continue leaning in. You've talked to us before about the JAX Tech Fest and Disrupt It conference. We just finished planning next year. The dates will be out soon. So we're just going to, whatever we can do to play our part here locally to build that innovation economy in Jacksonville, you can count us in.
Yeah. Matthew Chang, let's maybe wrap up here. For young entrepreneurs who are watching this or listening to this, what have you, especially those who share your values, what's the message about taking bold risks early?
I'd say the biggest risk you can take early is to be different than your peers and be really dedicated and focused. So when you're in those high school, college, and a few years after college years, a lot of the peers will be distracted. A lot of the peers are going to be out there partying or into hobbies or gaming or something that is long-term not going to build a career and not going to set them up for that future big risk. Those are the years when you just need to lean in, work hard, find smart people to learn from, and be super grateful for every opportunity to learn. And that's really all you have to do. Time will unfold what their opportunity is, and the future will. As you know, we're changing fast. We've got all the AI stuff is coming out now. The country is reshaping its direction right now. So the future will unveil itself, and when the time is right to take a risk, they're going to know.
Yeah. So when we're talking primarily about risk-taking, and you said earlier this example, the talents and the servants and what have you, there can be fear because failure hurts.
Oh, yeah.
It's also very instructive, though. What would you say to folks who are like, I don't want to fail, but maybe failure is that thing that captures the experience and the knowledge you need to succeed in the next try?
Wouldn't that be typical, right? I think you got to look up the stats. How many times did people fail before they made it? How many rockets did Elon Musk blow up before he landed the big one back on the pad, right? Failure is part of the game. And look, you can always make more money, but what you can't make is more time. So the more time people spend worrying about something instead of taking action, they're not getting into that cycle of becoming their best self. And the purpose of the book is to inform on kingdom building. If you're going to build for the kingdom, you have to get started building. Failure is a part of it, but you can recover from that, right? And like you said, learning is the biggest part of failure.
Yeah. I'm processing. I know a lot of our listeners and viewers are right now processing, and I would imagine pretty easy to find. Risk-taking is biblical if I'm looking for it on Amazon, right?
Amazon and Barnes & Noble, available right now.
Matthew Chang, thank you so much, the CEO of Chang Robotics. Thank you so much for joining us, and just a reminder, wherever you get your podcasts, go ahead, like, subscribe, follow, and then look for new episodes every Thursdays at 9 a.m.